What if the biggest mystery you'll ever solve is yourself? Self-discovery can feel overwhelming sometimes, like peeling back layer after layer of an onion. But every journey has to start somewhere. So are you ready to peel back another layer on your self-discovery journey today? Hi, I'm Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if we're already friends. This is the second video in my self-discovery series. In the first video, I talked about defining your core values, the compass that guides you toward what matters most. If you haven't watched it yet, you can do so after you finish this video. Today I'm building on that foundation by asking, how do you naturally process the world and recharge your energy? In other words, are you more of an introvert, an extrovert, or maybe an ambivert? This one insight is so powerful because it shapes the way you make decisions about your career, your goals, your relationships, and even your self-care. And it's not about putting yourself in a box. It's about giving you a compass, a way to align your life with your natural wiring instead of constantly fighting against it. As Carl Jung famously said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." What he meant by that is that when we're only focused on the outside world, what other people expect from us, what society says success looks like, we're often chasing someone else's dream. But when we turn inward, we wake up to who we really are. Knowing how you recharge is part of that awakening because it helps you stop living by default and start living in alignment with your true nature. When I think back to high school, I remember how everyone seemed to love those big noisy parties, music blasting, people shouting over each other, someone inevitably spilling a soda on the carpet. Meanwhile, I was the one sneaking out to the porch, perfectly happy eating chips with just two of my close friends. And for a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. It took me years to realize, oh, I wasn't broken or weird. Well, maybe just a little weird. But I was just wired more like an introvert. And once I understood that, so many things in my life started to make sense. An interesting thing to note here, introverts aren't necessarily shy, antisocial, or people who hate parties. And extroverts aren't always the loudest person in the room. This is a common misconception. What it really comes down to is energy. Introverts recharge through solitude or calm, meaningful interactions. Extroverts recharge by being around people, movement, and stimulation. Think of it less like quiet versus loud, and more like where do you gain energy and where do you lose it? One tool you can use is the Myers-Briggs Personality Test. Now, it's not perfect, but it can give you a lot of useful insights. The test looks at 4 areas of personality, but introvert versus extrovert is the foundation. It gives you a 4-letter designation that is supposed to define your personality. Again, it's not exactly scientific, but it might make you think about yourself in ways you haven't before. By the way, my letters are INFP with the I standing for introvert. I'll link a free version of the test below if you'd like to try it. And remember, it's not a label, it's more of a mirror, helping you see patterns you might not have noticed before. If you're more of an introvert, your growth might look like honoring your needs for solitude while still creating meaningful connections. Journaling, creative projects, or deep one-on-one conversations might be your path to self-discovery. If you're more of an extrovert, your growth might be leaning into collaboration, group experiences, and external exploration, while also learning to slow down and tune into your own voice amidst the noise. And you can also be more of an ambivert, which is more in the middle of introvert and extrovert. Your strength is flexibility. You might thrive in a group brainstorming session one day and then crave a solo walk the next. Both are valid and both are part of who you are. Introvert and extrovert aren't black and white categories. They're two ends of a spectrum. You could be closer to one or the other, or be an ambivert, right in the middle. The key isn't to decide you're completely one or the other. It's to notice your tendencies, honor them, and work with your nature, not against it. If you want to dig deeper, here are some journal prompts you can try. Do I feel more energized after time alone or after spending time with others? Think of a recent social situation. Did it leave me feeling drained or recharged? As a child, did I prefer big group activities or smaller, quieter ones? If I could design my ideal day, how much of it would include people and how much would be solo time? Do I see myself more as an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert, and why? So, the second step in your self-discovery journey is simply asking, am I wired more like an introvert, an extrovert, or somewhere in between? Once you know, you can start noticing patterns, align your goals with your natural energy, and live more in tune with who you really are. In the next video in this series, we'll get into determining your strengths and weaknesses. And by the end of the series, you'll be able to create a blueprint or a map for your own journey of self-discovery. So for now, take the test, try the prompts, and let me know in the comments. Do you consider yourself an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert? And how has that shaped your life? If you took the Myers-Briggs test, what are your letters? Share them below. And if you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the self-discovery series and my other videos about journaling, finding purpose, and feeling peaceful and content. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time.